ones who
They're doing all
They're
that.
starting all that.
one of the professors in
Oh.
biology, well, he did this short supercharged.
It is supercharged. All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
All right. I'd like to call to order the March meeting of the Elizabethton City Schools, and thank you all for coming, and thank you for nobody else coming, so that's good. Dr. G, you want to lead us in a moment of silence and pledge the flag?
Thank you.
Okay, let's have our moment of silence. Thank you. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's time to approve the consent and regular agenda. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Anybody have any questions or comments? All right, item on the floor is to approve consent regular agenda. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next item is time for citizens to speak. Chief, you got anything you want to talk about? All right, we'll move on then. All right, Dr. G.
Well, Chief, thank you. They were, our SROs and police officers were with us today when we were doing our food distribution, and so we greatly thank you for being there. It's a community outreach opportunity for our school system,
Did we
and
have
also
many people show up?
we did. We had today was kind of light. I think word is starting to get out. Plus, it was a rainy day too. So, but I went to Westside and distributed. We probably only had 8 or 10 kids come by, but then went to Harold McCormick for lunch, and we had 50 students come by. So we think that those numbers will definitely increase, especially when resources become few. And we're able to get deliveries. But Regina Isaacs and our food service team and our administrators were all out at those locations today. So we want to thank all of them, and our police officers were there with us as well. And so you'd be amazed at how happy the kids were to see our SROs. They were talking about, they have a relationship with the kids just like we do. And so the kids were really excited to see them. We had a couple kids on bikes that came by with flat tires, and they were working on getting them some fixes to help them with that. And they sent down the fire department to get their tires blown up. And so it's just those little things, getting to take care of kids, that were fantastic today. So thanks, Chief. We appreciate you. We have been knee-deep in our COVID-19 response. It has been a very interesting process. We're having conference calls about every day with new guidance, literally by the hour. And we've had to coordinate with our local health officials. And if you don't know who David Kershke is, he is our local health official that has worked with us very closely, giving us guidance on school closure and other things. But he's working with all superintendents in our area and coming to all of our meetings to make sure that we're fully informed about what's going on. COVID-19 is a very real issue, and there's been a lot of banter back and forth about the crisis, but no matter what, we do have a good plan. We've worked with our teachers, and it's been everybody, all hands on deck, trying to make sure that we're ready, including our nurses today, coming to work and checking everybody out, screening everyone when they come to work to make sure that they're in a great place to begin work that day. And we appreciate Dr. May for making that suggestion. And we will be continuing to work with our faculty and staff, trying to get the right number of people here at a time to be able to handle the load that we have. So we're going to start heavy with personnel. We probably will back that off some over a period of time, depending on the community transmission that's going on, trying to keep our employees safe and trying to do the same thing with our students. I anticipate, based on guidance today on our conference call, this could be a 4 to 8 week process to start. and could last through the end of the school year. We're not 100% sure exactly how this is going to unfold, but we feel like that could be a possibility for families. I think that our response is really going to look at what are we doing with health and safety, and then what are we doing with instruction. And so the instruction piece, we have been given guidance by the department. They're bringing on open source online resources for our students and for our teachers to use. And also we have prepared lessons for them after spring break to start beginning to work. And I plan on having our folks have quote office hours and a contact for people to get in touch with them if need be, to be able to work through some of the material that's there. And we're going to try to do our best. So we'll have a lot more guidance on the instruction piece in the next 2 weeks. We are still moving ahead with a lot of the other things going on within the system. The STEM lab we're really moving ahead on that. Painting is now being done. We had that corridor issue that we have addressed, and we're still hanging sheetrock down there, and it's getting close to being complete. We have a lot of great things going on there. I think we'll be very close to completing that soon. We did have a problem with asbestos in some mastic that had been used, so we stopped. It was about a $3,000 to $4,000 endeavor for air quality and the removal and abatement of that, but we were able to get that done very quickly within a 2-week period. And so that has opened that back up for us to be able to finish the room that's there and lay tile in there. We do anticipate, and thanks for Mr. Pless for relaying the message from Mr. Simmerly, that the T.A. Duggar bond is going to be a little bit delayed just from the fact that the market's so volatile right now. We do not know when they're going to go and go to the market, but they've been talking back and forth with Mr. Delaney to try to make the best choice possible where we're able to yield the most results with the funding. A big question we've had is pay for employees. And the guidance we've received thus far is that our employees will be paid. And there's a lot of legal hoops to jump through at the state level that they're going through based on federal dollars that have been approved last week and this week. So they're in the process of applying for all the waivers to bring the money in to be able to help furloughed employees, including ours. And so they've told us to move on as normal, paying everyone right now. I don't anticipate, although it may change, that we would extend the school year at this point. They've given us guidance that the commissioner now, because we're under a state of emergency, has the power to make the school system a amount of time, whatever she deems reasonable based on the response. And we've had 2 major crises, especially in Middle Tennessee, with the tornado coming through and the COVID crisis coming through. And so she has plenty of justification to be able to do that. My thinking in that and what we've heard is that pay for employees, if they would extend the school year, then they would have to pay for that during any days that we would have beyond, because we're paying people right now. And so I think that they'll probably try to use those dollars more wisely, knowing that this particular year is going to be a difficult year. We received a notification today that we should have something in our hands about assessment and accountability. I believe that that also is going to be waived for this year, and based on the circumstances, but we've received word but not official word on that. One of the things that we're going to need to do is talk about board meetings for the future, and I anticipate this Friday that we will have guidance from the legislature in Tennessee talking about the fact that they will allow us to have the open meetings law is going to be changed or suspended for a period of time until this can happen. So we have started investigating ways where we could come in virtually and meet virtually and take care of that. So we will have a solution here in the next couple of weeks by the next board meeting, and we'll be putting information out to the board on that. The other thing, when we worked on this month, prior to that, teacher evaluation, getting into the full year and those types of things, that's really going to be waived too. And so we'll give credit for teachers even though they, quote, have not worked a certain period of time. But that will be waived, and I think we'll be in great shape there. One of the projects that Dr. Newman has been working on is literacy and math walks and working with our teachers with instruction. Those have gone very well and give us a lot of feedback to work on. And she also has invited Tammy Davis from the State Department to come in and work with our principals on how to give better feedback during evaluations, and so we can improve our feedback, and that's gone very well. She's spent time with each individual principal working on that, and it's something that they really have said has helped them be better at what they do. And the last thing is our COPS grant. We're going to try to start work on that here in the next couple weeks, and the Avigilon system. And we'll be working to start pulling all the wire and doing those types of things. Of course, it'll depend on the COVID and how their company is going to react to that, but I feel that we'll be ready to go by next school year after we start with that. Thank you.
And thank you, Dr. G, for you and your staff getting everything together and for working with our teachers and principals so that I know everybody had to move quick, but thank you. I know I watched it happen at my place of employment. I know probably Danny and Eddie and everybody else, Dr. May and Phil, it's happening everywhere, but on behalf of the board, thank you very much for all you're doing and continuing to do, so thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's get to the agenda. First item is approve first reading of Board Policy 5.106, application and employment as revised. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, this particular item, we're just taking off the fact that the board will reimburse an applicant the first time if it's offered and accepted, and that was a change that we received from TSBA.
Anybody have any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Item on the floor is to approve first reading of Board Policy 5.106, application and employment as revised. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next item, approve first reading of Board Policy 3.204, threat assessment. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, this particular item is about us having a threat assessment team. Mr. Van Huss is our safety officer, and he's been working. He went to some initial training offered by the state and then pulled some of our principals in to go to that as well. And each system is to have a threat assessment team, so we're pretty far ahead at this point, but it's something that we try to allow a team to help us look at threats within the school and give recommendations and work together for the safety of our schools.
Is this a more a new thing, or?
It's probably, I'd say we're probably about a year into it at this point. We had training last spring, and so it's something that they're allowing individual teachers and the teams at the schools to try to help determine the threats. And I think basically it's to help communicate during those crises, if we have one, that people are involved and understand how it's going.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions or comment? All right. Item on the floor, approve first reading of Board Policy 3.204, threat assessment. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next item, approve first reading of Board Policy 3.405, commercial advertising on school buses. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, this particular item is just would allow us with some restrictions to advertise on our school buses. I know that local school systems in our area do this. How they go about it is there's basically a sticker, a vinyl, or a magnetic sticker that they put on the side, and people sponsor them. And it's been a moneymaker. I know Carter County has made quite a bit of money doing this, so but they're allowing that to be done on the state level. Anything that we would put on there, obviously, we would have to approve and we bring to the board.
Have we had anybody ask us about that?
We have in the past, but we just never have done that here, so.
Is that something y'all establish the cost? I mean, is there something that you have as a sample of how much it costs to do a certain size or how long or?
Yeah, I think that what we would do is, we know that part of the restrictions that we have is we can't cover any of the windows. For that, even perforated windows will not pass inspection. So we would probably have to make some guidelines, maybe make a procedure that we would follow. If we have this, then we'll go back and look at that, and maybe, because I think, you know, I don't know really how to say that. We have some businesses probably would love to wrap the bus.
I understand.
But I think you're right. We need to put some restrictions on
I
it.
just didn't know if there are guidelines, if that comes from TSBA guidelines on like cost sheets, or if that's developed locally, or how that, you know, works.
Yeah.
But
You know what? I'll check with,
I see
see if
that's-
there's anything from Carter County, and we'll
Yeah,
check with
yeah.
TSBA.
Anybody else? All right, item on the floor, approve first reading of Board Policy 3.405, commercial advertising on school buses. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next item, approve first reading of Board Policy 4.302, field trips, excursions, competitions as revised. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
This is just a cleanup on the policy. There's not really any new information in here, but if you go down to line 24, trips privately, or 25, I'm sorry, trips planned, privately planned by district school employees acting outside the scope of their employment are not authorized by the school district. And that's definitely very important to us, based on the fact their insurance would not cover them. And and then they kind of spelled it out a little bit more, give a litmus test for it there, but the information is about the same as what we've had.
It's made it a little clearer, right?
It's a little clearer, yes.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? All right, item on the floor is approve first reading of Board Policy 4.302, field trips, excursions, competitions as revised. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next, approve first reading of Board Policy 4.606, graduation activities as revised. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to second.
Thank you.
And this is just a general rewording of the policy. You know, it back and forth, but you look at their children are expected to participate in graduation activities organized by the district.
Do you have any questions or comments on this one? Item on the floor is approve first reading of Board Policy 4.606, graduation activities as revised. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next item, approve the professional services of Reedy and Sykes for their architectural engineering services at a cost of 6% of the construction cost, not to exceed $30,000 for the baseball training facility. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. And have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
This particular project, as we've stated before, is a joint project between the city of Elizabethton and the school system, Boyd Sports, and the Minnesota Twins. We're all working together on this. We've assumed the cost as part of our match of $30,000 to do the architectural drawings. And what I will tell you is that it's coming together. I think we really need, before we bring it to the board, we need a really good scope and sequence, what it's going to look like, a good budget, and those types of things to see whether we can afford it. Those services are around $5,000 in the total contract for this. If they decide not to move forward with the project, or something would happen at that point, we would try to value engineer if we could to make sure that we took care of it, and then our then we would move forward. But you will see a budget before we vote on doing the project itself. You will see a budget, a scope, and have a good idea about where our financial commitment will be.
Do I have any questions or comments on this?
I know when we get there, I just want to make sure that our role, our ability to use it is laid out as well.
It is.
I don't want to put money in it, then, oh, you can only use it.
Yeah, the major benefit for us is probably going to be between the months of the end of September and all the way through May. And for us, the hitting facility, I know that the Twins want to use that, but it's also will be a weight training area, and will be an opportunity for us to have a place to pitch and hit in the winter for TA Duggar and the high school. So, but the use of that on our side is going to be completely for us, except when the Twins are there. But we will make sure that that's a discussion as a part of it. I understand that.
Anybody else? Item on the floor, approve the professional services of Reed and Sykes for their architectural engineering services at a cost of 6% of construction cost, not to exceed $30,000 for the baseball training facility. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next item, approve a new program of study for a virtual reality class at Elizabethton High School. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, this program of study, Mr. Colbert and his staff has worked on that we have to resubmit it in this year. And they've worked hard on this class, and it's going very well. And we appreciate all
Is this a different class, like a secondary class, or just the same class that they've taught?
well,
With improvements?
We're trying to tie in different aspects of things to make sure that we can feed into that program.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have to submit those changes for a new program of study for that, because they're kind of blazing the trail there at the high school, Brian.
You're the first one in the state, correct?
Yeah, and I know that there are other school systems working on something similar. I know Kingsport has also been talking with Lubbock and doing some things there, but we are definitely far along with our program, and like I said, Mr. Colbert's led the charge on that.
Cool.
Great.
Any questions or comments? Item on the floor, approve a new program of study for a virtual reality class at Elizabethton High School. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next item, approve Thomas Weems Architect revised standard abbreviated form of agreement for interior renovations and re-roofing of existing buildings at TA Duggar Junior High School. Can I get a motion to approve? Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, this is what we had discussed earlier in our workshop, to be able to move forward with the architectural drawings that we'll need to be submitted. And we hope very much that the money will be here for the project by the time we're ready to go at the end of school. And so we're going to have to time it right. I would hate to start on it early, just from the fact that maybe students would come back, but we'll be ready to go at that point anyway.
Any questions or comments?
With the city not moving on the bond right now with the market, is this going to delay what you think? I mean, who knows how long this is going to affect?
I think that they will do it for a period of time. I don't think that it will be a long period of time, that they may look at for a month. I know I talked with the mayor this week, and he said, we're going to kind of wait a couple days back and forth, but they have a time period or framework they have to work within. So I wouldn't anticipate it to be very long. But if we have something, we're still going to have the architectural stuff done to be ready to go, and I don't anticipate, that we wouldn't be able to start on time this summer.
Anybody else? All right, item on the floor, approve Thomas Weems Architect revised standard abbreviated form of agreement for interior renovations and re-roofing of existing buildings at TA Duggar Junior High School. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next item, approve a new program of study for DE Advanced Computer Applications for Elizabethton High School. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, this is another request by Mr. Colbert that we had to get in there to make sure we met the deadline this spring to have it ready to go. So we appreciate his work on this one as well.
Anybody have any questions or comments? All right. Item on the floor, approve a new program of study for DE Advanced Computer Applications for Elizabethton High School. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next item, approve ELA adoption of textbooks for T.A. Duggar Junior High School, Amplify, and Elizabethton High School, HMH. Can I get a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Newman worked with our folks very closely in our textbook adoption, and they've spent a lot of time trying to get the right thing they think for now. We anticipate that the high school may adopt, but maybe not purchase this year. There's some standards things going on with trying to have materials that will completely help them, but I do appreciate all the work that's gone into it, and by our teachers for their review.
Anybody have any questions or comments? All right. Item on the floor, approve ELA adoption of textbooks for T.A. Duggar Junior High School, Amplify, and Elizabethton High School, HMH. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next item, approve Thomas Williams Architect revised standard abbreviated form of agreement for the hardening of entrances at Elizabethton High School, Eastside Elementary School, and Harold McCormick Elementary School. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, this is part of utilizing the dollars out of our COPS grant, and we had about $140,000 set aside there to be able to do this project, and we're going to try to get Mr. Weems moving on that as well, so we can start that at the end of the school year as well.
Have any questions or comments? Hearing none, approve Thomas Williams Architect revised standard abbreviated form of agreement for the hardening of entrances at Elizabethton High School, Eastside, and Harold McCormick. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Last item, approve Elizabethton City Schools calendar to accommodate COVID-19 schedule changes. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all we've done is we had 2 PD days left and we had 3 snow days left. The department gave us guidance that we had to use those first before we were able to do anything else. And so we just moved those 2 PD days, returned those to be regular school days, and then we'll see how it goes. We have submitted a waiver today and for the days, and we will continue to do that as the time, as we may accumulate more time on the leave. So I appreciate Dr. Newman and Mr. Van Huss worked on that.
Anybody have any questions or comments? All right, item on the floor, approve Elizabethton City Schools calendar to accommodate COVID-19 schedule changes. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next regularly scheduled board meeting will be Tuesday, April 21, somewhere, here or at home. We shall wait and see. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you. Have a second?
Second.
Meeting adjourned.